Hi, my name is Mark and I teach economics. In this video, I'm going to describe the primary reason for inequality in the United States of America, and it might surprise you. The primary reason for inequality in the United States of America is money. Some people have it and some people don't. Some people are receiving it first and some people are receiving it last. What does that mean? You have to turn to monetary theory to explain this. Like any explanatory model or theory, there are many causes. There are many exogenous and endogenous variables. However, I'm looking at the primary cause that exacerbates the Gini coefficient, and we're seeing that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, is connected with money. Money is the second half of every transaction. We exchange something for money. So if the money market is in disequilibrium or something is wrong, it has a systemic effect across the entire economy. The genesis, the origin of this systemic disequilibrium that exacerbates the inequality in the United States is the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States. The Federal Reserve Bank of the United States creates money out of thin air. In a sense, they're counterfeiting it. They're not creating money that's connected to any sort of value. The Federal Reserve was created in 1913 to smooth the business cycles, be a lender of last resort, help unemployment, and stabilize the price level. It was an idea of centrally planning the monetary system. Before that, we had something called sound money, honest money, connected with the commodity standard or the gold standard, or free banking. So before that, we actually had a free economy in the United States, capitalism. After that, the most important commodity was centrally controlled by the Federal Reserve. The problem is there's always a first receiver from their monetary action and a last receiver. They use open market operations, lowering the interest rate, the Fed funds rate, their target rate. They print more M1, M2, M3, or create it, let's say metaphorically, and expand the money supply through the expansion of credit. This money flows down through the economy from the big banks to the little guy, let's say. I'm not saying that derogatory. So imagine this, that the Federal Reserve needs to create $480 billion, like they just recently did, through the expansion of their balance sheet. $480 billion. Where does that money go? It certainly doesn't go to the people who are living in the trailer parks around me. It goes to Wall Street. It goes to the big banks. There's an expression that if you want to make money, be around money. In the Middle Ages, you don't want to be a serf in a fiefdom, a far reach of the fiefdom. You want to be near the king's court. I believe it was Al Capone. They asked him, why does he rob banks? He said, that's where the money is. And similarly, Federal Reserve action flows down through the big banks, through the system, and by the time you're groveling for your mortgage or your car loan across the table from some banker, you know, there's a lot of middlemen that have siphoned that off, that have taken that. And not only that, the poor don't even have opportunities to expand credit, to take entrepreneurial efforts in the same magnitude as the wealthy. I personally know people who have $100 million sitting in their bank account and they didn't add much value to the economy, if anything. They were simply granted access through the credit markets to leverage what they were doing. So again, why is there inequality in America? Because there's always the first receiver and the last receiver of money. And I'm not talking about a few $100 million of fiscal policy, food stamps, or the military. I am talking about the most massive creation of money that is beyond belief. We're talking trillions of dollars are flowing from the top and they never reach it to the bottom. So of course the rich are going to want dishonest money. Of course the 1% are going to want this Federal Reserve to exist. It didn't always exist. 1787, $1 was worth $1. 1913, $1 was worth $1.06. Federal Reserve was created in 1913. That same dollar is worth 4 cents. We also had the Great Depression, dot-com bubble, Great Recession, and the next Great Depression, Great Recession that's coming up in a year or two. So the Federal Reserve doesn't do a very good job at stabilizing prices or preventing the business cycle, but what it does do an excellent job at is exacerbating the difference between the rich and the poor. Basically robbing the poor of opportunity to create wealth through credit, through their honest effort and work, and only pumping the money and creating money artificially to the rich, the first receivers. If they were honest and they wanted to pump $480 billion in the economy, they would simultaneously put money in everybody's bank account in equal proportions. But they're not doing that. So the reason that there's inequality is the Federal Reserve, because there's first receivers and last receivers. Remember, I study economics. I understand Knut Wicksell, Ludwig von Mises, F.A. Hayek, Robert Murphy. There's a lot of PhD economists and research going into this, showing that before the Federal Reserve creation, business cycles lasted an average of 2 years. The Gini coefficient was much better, and the middle class was growing stronger, and inflation was under control. In fact, we had mild deflation, which is a good thing. It's a sign of a healthy economy. This is not an alternative heterodoxic theory. It's just simply a line of mainstream economic thinking that has academic, peer-reviewed research behind it. What do? Well, one idea is eliminate the Fed. That would be a great start to rebuilding America, bringing America back on its feet and the middle class rising. Forget the fiscal policy and all the other ideas that are drumming around, the Beltway. You want a rich America, you want a free America, start with the Federal Reserve. Thank you very much.